they coming for you? Specifically you?
All right, leave me alone.
Okay. That's right. Shit, that's fine. All right. Specifically.
We're back to talking about critical race theory again. Critical race theory is racist, plain and simple. The point of critical race theory is to basically say that white people are oppressors, black people are oppressed, and if you're white, you must be racist. That's basically the bottom line of critical race theory. The definition of racism is judging someone's character by the color of their skin, is what critical race theory does. But parents are starting to stand up all over the country to fight back. From South Kingstown, Rhode Island, Virginia. It's about time. This is ridiculous. We fought against segregation 60 years ago, and now we're going to have to do it again. Why would anybody support this racist? This racist ideology is ridiculous and needs to stop.
All right.
President Trump is the only politician that's come out and spoke against it. That's true leadership.
All right.
Something the Democrats know nothing about.
Okay. So.
In Texas.
Oh, you weren't done?
In Texas, they want to pass a law to ban critical race theory teaching in the schools in Texas, which I think is going to go through.
Okay. So basically, this article is going to talk about
racism. Racism has no place in America.
Why are you yelling?
Racism has no place in America.
Bring your energy down. Yeah, racism has no place in America. I agree with him. My thing is that they're trying to not only put this through from the education system itself, but they're trying to integrate it into every single.
The military, colleges everywhere. Okay. Let me finish. The military.
No, what they're not talking about is, and this is the real issue. Now, curriculums in colleges have been probably for like the last couple of years preaching this nonsense. I think ever since towards the end of Obama being in office. And they've always been liberal, and they've always been on this kind of BS. It's been around forever. Hughes, who's a representative of Manola, Texas, he introduced a reworked version of the House bill that also requires the State Board of Education to develop new state standards for civics education with a corresponding teacher training program to start in the 2022-23 school year. The Senate approved the bill in an 18-13 vote over opposition from educators, school advocacy groups, and senators of color who worry it limits necessary conversation about the roles race and racism plays in U.S. history. Here's my thing. If they wanted to...
Can I say something?
I'm just going to finish.
This is important.
Hold on. Just keep the thought. I got one thing last to say. If they really want to do this as a class, I think it's fine if they want to put it in, but it has to be a separate thing where what they're trying to do is go into English class and say you have to speak a certain way, certain pronouns, certain manners of speaking about race. History class, they want to change the talk about what the great the great white people of history have done, and several other subjects where they want to turn it to, well, black people need to be lifted up in all of these cases, even if they weren't playing a significant role in any of this stuff, or any of this is necessary to quote unquote prevent racism. Go ahead.
But it's all critical race theory. It's also making its way into corporations and then the military. It's unacceptable in those races, and it needs to stop. Your personal opinions have nothing to do with your workplace. You're paid to do a job.
My thing is it's weird because, like, you remember how we watched the ad last episode for the military, and they had... She was very successful, but she came from lesbian moms and all that. I'm like, once we start down this path, look, I'm not saying not to accept people. I'm not saying, not to be inclusive, but it's like when you're trying so hard to achieve this kind of world that you want to have, you push aside what has worked in reality, how people live their lives, and how people think and act, and how, in general, society has kind of shaped itself. When you try to push that aside to get what you want, you make other people suffer. If you need to understand how that works, look no further than this, because what they don't tell you is there are kids now who are being taught that based off of race, if you're not white, you somehow have an advantage, because the second that anything doesn't go your way, you can just throw out that it's racist. if you don't get a job, you don't get good grades, you feel like that white kid is just too popular, and then you say he called me the N-word, or he's oppressing me by his excellence and not allowing me to shine. That's what this is going to come to. Because again, if anyone knows this, as a human being, we're capable of gaming a system to our advantage. So what do these kids do when they get older and they have this nonsense programmed in where all they have to do is say, something's racist, I want my cookie, I want my reward. That's what it's going to start leading into.
Yes. Let's go on.
No, don't you rush me. This is a fucking mutual thing. Don't be a dick.
All right. Didn't we just say that in the
I know,
podcast?
come on. That's rude.
Well,
Get over yourself. You're not important. Alright. So we're going to go ahead and cut to now another appalling edition of the education system in 2021. Let's go ahead and watch, guys. Alright, just going to back it up here.
explain to them what they're watching.
Oh, no. I'm not. I refuse to commentate on this. I'm going to let the video play out and then express my disgust. Let's go. Probably seen it by now, guys. I need another water.
Some children and adults feel uncomfortable when they talk about their private parts, so they make up cute or funny names for them. What's one for a girl's private parts? Vajayjay! But what suits me when he says vajayjay? He means vulva. That's right, Kayla. It's important to use the proper words for our private parts. Why? Because our private parts are just as amazing as our hearts, lungs, brains, or any other of our amazing body parts. But our hearts pump blood, our lungs breathe, and our brains think. All our private parts do is pee. That's not entirely true, Scoots. It is true that a person pees or urinates through a hole called the urethra in the penis. Does everyone have urethra? They do. It can be harder to see, but girls have a tiny hole in the front of the vulva where urine comes out.
Jesus Christ.
Urination is actually very important. It helps us get rid of stuff our body doesn't need. Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points into the air? That's called an erection.
Yes.
Sometimes I touch my penis because it feels good. Sometimes when I have my back or my mom puts me in bed, I like to touch my vulva too.
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Probably feels good to touch the same way Keith's penis feels good when he touches it. But have you ever noticed that older kids and grown-ups don't touch their private parts in public? They don't? That's right, Keith. It's okay to touch yourself and see how different body parts feel. But it's best to
What?
only do
What?
it once. If private parts are so special, why do you cover them up? Because they are private, silly. That's right, Kayla. Because they are private. Please, pass it.
Okay, I've had enough of this. So, in case you don't know what we were watching, I wanted to go with no context. You can see the title, Sex Education for First Graders. Now,
This is wrong.
It's so disturbing already that kids are going to have critical race theory. Apologize, I have a mint in my mouth. That taught to them, and now they're getting sex education on top of it. I mean, they're going to be racist. They're going to be oversexed.
Oh my God! First
What's
grade.
the next one?
First grade's teaching a parent's dream come true. What a fucking nightmare.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's appalling in so many levels.
Who the fuck approved this? Who? What? I
Moron.
have a question. Somebody, or a few people who approved this, who were on the school board, had to have had kids at this age. They didn't see an issue with teaching their kids this?
This is why some school
What the
board.
fuck?
This is why some school board members need to be voted out because they let prove shit like this, which is disgusting.
I get
A
that-
5 or 6 year old child just need not to know anything about this. When they go to 8th grade health class, they can learn about this. That's the appropriate time. Not when they're fucking 5 or 6 years old in first grade. It's ridiculous.
I get things like if you teach a kid about stranger danger, right? But you don't mention any of the stuff they just mentioned. You just say, hey, If somebody offers you something, whatever, like when you're a kid, you get the basics of like, hey, strangers are dangerous. If you don't know them, don't go near them.
That's a video.
That's a video they could use.
That's a video they should be showing to first
Right.
graders.
And it's like the questions. If they say, get in my van, I'm looking for a pet, whatever. Of say no, seek an adult. Great. That's a safety thing. What is the point of this? What is the point? The kids, A, they don't have a concept of this stuff. B,
Instead of that, you're showing porn. How disgusting is that?
How disturbing is it to hear a child say that? It's like, they're kids. Fine, granted, they're fucking kids. But it's just a lawnmower guy. Here's my thing I don't get, right?
They don't work today.
Yeah, all right, but here's the thing I don't get. If you're going to teach this to the kids, right, what is the point of it? Like, the stranger danger thing has a point. It's very useful, keeps your kids safe. You know, if they're out in a group, they can band together and go find an adult. It's great. It's educational. Fine. What's the point of this? A 6-year-old, a 7-year-old should have no concept of this.
Can I go see what that is?
No, it's okay.
But because the landscape guys don't work today.
It's I don't know. It might be the neighbor then. It's just let it go.
I want to go look.
I know, but I want to do this, man.
Can you pause this for a minute?
All right, guys. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back.
No, but then they asked me they want money to mow my lawn. I thought they was getting money. I told them no.
Okay. Just a second, guys. We'll be right back.
Just give me.
1 minute, guys. 1 minute. All right, you jackasses, we're back. Just to wrap up this particular subject, this should not be taught to children. I think it's obvious.
Not the first graders. The 8th grade health class, maybe. Yes.
I had mine in 9th grade as a freshman in high school. That's what they did in math at the time.
Yeah.
And again, I did learn some stuff I didn't know. But then again, if I was in first grade and someone tried to tell me this, I'd be not only confused, but I think this is scary for kids. Because if this is allowed to go on, I mean, what the fuck are they teaching them?
Okay.
If it's not just about, by the way, this is my problem. If it's not just about this, but then critical race theory, what else are they trying to influence them with?
So to speak, reading, writing, and arithmetic, that's what school is for, not for this nonsense.
This is about indoctrination, but I honestly don't understand what's the point of indoctrinating this. And I know there's some of you out there who might say, like, pedophile cults and, you know, all that stuff. Look, I don't think that has anything to do with this. It's fun to play the game of conspiracy theory, but really, if anything, this is what happens when you miss the mark, and you shouldn't be a teacher. You shouldn't even be allowed to suggest educational programs for children if this is one of your suggestions, okay? You like the guy, you know, who's suggesting things in the boardroom, and they just look at you and go, Bob, shut the fuck up, you're an idiot. Go home, Bob. You're too stupid for this job. So, you know, whoever out there who approved this, you're fired. Or can we get you're fired? Say, go ahead, right into the camera.
You're fired.
Okay, get the fuck out, honey. All right, or dude, whoever the fuck approved this, you're out. All right, but guys, we're gonna switch over to another subject. So give us a second. Okay?
A really cute catnip in my hand.
Now, let's go ahead and get back. All right, look, I'm pretty sure that you're well aware of the fact that the mainstream media, for the most part, between the big three, with ABC, CNBC, and CNN, are all the media groups essentially that have mainstream newscasters that a lot of people get information from, are incredibly biased to one side. I think the most journalism that I've seen in the last 5 years, even under Trump, has been from people who are basically independent on YouTube like us, or Project fucking Veritas. Shout out to James O'Keefe. Shout out to all the actual uncovering they do there. I don't know why it is that we can't get reporters who fact check a damn thing or call somebody and ask for a story. But I'm going to go ahead and let you cover this because I didn't see it. I don't need to see it to know that you tossed your softballs like it's fucking Little League. Go ahead.
Brian Stelter from CNN interviewed.
Camera.
Would you stop that already? I hate when you interrupt me. Just let me talk. Okay.
Relax, man.
I can't even see him. How do I know if it's on me?
It's on you. Just hey,
I know.
Take it easy. We're doing this as a team. Relax.
I know, but I'm in my mojo and you interrupt me. Brian Stelter
You're the drama queen.
Brian Stelter from CNN interviewed Biden's press secretary Gene Psaki, and it was all softball questions like, "What do you think the media gets wrong?" It was a softball interview with ridiculous questions. Here are the 3 questions he should have asked her and he didn't. The 11,000 jobs they killed.
Not on the table. Be careful.
They said those were coming back. They're not going to. That was a lie. What are they going to do with the crisis at the border, which they deny? And shit, Fauci, why are they still kissing Dr. Anthony Fauci's ass when all these emails will come out to show that he's full of shit, which I thought he was full of shit all along. And she asked him, and none of those questions. They used to give Trump really tough questions. But they interview Democrats. They don't ask them tough questions. CNN is a fucking joke.
Let's be honest here. We talked about this months ago on the podcast when this was first going down, and I'm the one who said it, but again, my co-host here is in agreement. What essentially happens when you're a scientist is, with the data in front of them, they're like this. Well, I'm the weatherman. I'm taking a guess based off of what the radar's telling me. Now, I could have a 50-50 shot of being right, which means when I put on this mask and I tell you, hey, it's safe, I'm taking a guess. There's no guarantee. Now, it's an entirely different subject from this interview, but the thing I don't understand is, do you think CNN's going to cover the emails? Do you think they're going to give fair coverage? Do you think that allowing this smiling fucking halfwit on the right with this balding, possibly straight man on the left is any way, shape, or form going to produce any information for the American people to consume that's actually useful? No.
You mean real journalism?
Yes.
No, absolutely not from CNN.
What's she going to say? Whatever the hell they tossed them in the pitch meeting for the idea to interview in the first place, which is yes, no, you can ask that, you can't ask that, you know you can't say anything about that. Real journalism is dead in terms of the mainstream because, again, they want to pump you full of fear, and then they want to take you into this nice little area where it's like, oh, these people are not, in a sense, abusing their power, doing something they're not supposed to. You know? Like, again, Biden's first fucking week in office, he sacks 10,000 goddamn pipeline jobs.
11,000.
11,000. Say what you will about a pipeline and the effects on the environment. You know what's even more dangerous? Producing electric vehicles. Wind farms, solar panels, all the means of production for those actually are, they have a higher production of waste than a pipeline or crude oil does. It's a fact. You can look.
They're worse for the environment, yes.
Here's the thing. What upsets me about this in particular is I don't even need to watch this to know what was said. Because it's like, hey, remember those 11,000 jobs? Oh, that's not something I could say about. Oh, they're going to come back. Don't worry. Oh, hey, what about the border? What border? There's no border crisis.
Have you heard anything about the 11,000 jobs coming back since when it first came out? You haven't heard shit about it in 5 months. Do you know why? They're not coming back.
What I've heard, and this is the funny thing, they're going to come back. It's just not going to be that particular field of 11,000. It's going to remember trickle-down economics? It's going to trickle down. These jobs are suddenly going to find them. I'm like, hey, 11,000 guys who are trained to work on an oil rig and a pipeline aren't going to go and be technical analysts for a fucking truck driving company the next week. Just because the job's there doesn't mean they have the skills to get it. Okay? But look, why do you do that?
I had a fly.
Yeah, you hit a fly. Okay, so look, we're gonna move on to the next subject. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The rioting in Minneapolis.
Explain them what
Surprise. Okay, this
Explain
man right here that you see on the screen.
Say who he is and what happened.
He got shot by U.S. Marshals. There is no body cam footage. I'm gonna point this out. They.
Do you believe that? Because I don't.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing that needs to be said. Federal law enforcement is different from state and local law enforcement. State and local law enforcement has a federal mandate from, I'm pretty sure Trump signed it, that they all have to have body cams. Now, in case you didn't know, U.S. Marshals are not state and local. They are federal. So, remember the guys in Portland and all the other places they were rioting, actually in particular Portland, where they were trying to burn down like federal courthouses and you had federal officers out in the streets? Yeah, they didn't have body cams. They are not legally required to.
They don't have to.
So, what do you think the U.S. Marshals had? No body cams. Do they need them? No.
Okay.
Now, this is the man in question, Winston Boogie Smith Jr. This is before his untimely demise at the hands of the U.S. Marshals. And there's some stuff about the case that's a little weird. No one's quite sure what really happened. Apparently, they showed up.
Can I say what they say? Police.
Well, actually, go ahead. Go ahead.
He was wanted for drugs. They had a warrant to arrest. They had the drugs are a firearm. They had a warrant to arrest him. They tracked him to a parking garage on the third floor. Him and a female passenger were sitting in the vehicle. They approached the vehicle. He showed a weapon. They told him to surrender. He showed a weapon.
They don't say how he showed it, though.
No, they don't. They don't say how he showed it. They said they told him to surrender. He showed a weapon and they shot him, and he died. That's a story from the police. They say that's what happened, and they say there's no body camera footage. Go ahead.
So this is a video taken by him
A couple of years ago.
No. This was recent because he's talking about what's going on in Minnesota. So we'll say within the last year at least.
Right. Okay.
This is taken before his death. We're not sure when. Okay. Look, I don't agree with his sentiments in that. I get that he's upset though. I can relate to being upset about something, okay? But why don't we just go ahead and say this right now? Just because you're upset doesn't give you freedom to go ahead and commit a crime or encourage other people to commit a crime, or even, by the way, it's against the law. If I was to say right now, hey, I want you to get up from the chair, I want you to get some alcohol, and I want you to get something, that you can put a cloth in, and I want you to throw a Molotov cocktail at the cops. If I suggested that you go and do that, I am directly inciting violence. Because in that video...
Yeah, that's not acceptable.
Did it incite violence?
Yes, that's not acceptable.
Okay, I want to hear...
No, that has nothing to do with the incident that we're talking about.
Sit back a bit. Sit back. The light gets bad if you're not.
That has nothing to do with the incident we're talking about. The incident we're talking about is totally separate from this. We're just saying that talk like that, rhetoric like that is not acceptable. Now, whether or not there was police body cam footage, the marshals say there's not. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
They don't have to wear them, though. So,
all right.
Again, if you don't have to wear it, then who... Again, you want to demand justice. You want to demand body cam footage. It's like, at least tell the family, it's like, hey, they do not have to wear them. They are not required by law, like a local law enforcement, to wear them. So if they show up to the scene of this parking garage and they have this altercation, they don't have to have footage of it. They do not. It's under law, they're allowed not to have body cams. Now, whether or not that's something that can be debated for them to wear them, honestly, I don't really care one way or the other if they do, because to be honest with you, since body cams have been initiated, all we've seen is exactly what the cops have been saying this whole time. We show up, We do our job. This person gets out of line. Something happens. Some people get shot. Some people get, it's a varying degree of when somebody who's supposed to act right when authority figures show up doesn't. It's not like they're showing up and going, okay.
Yeah, but the cops
What
are.
time is it? Okay, is that a black guy? Yeah, well, just get your gun out. We're not even going to bother going to read him his rights or put handcuffs on him or tell him where the law
No,
is.
that's not what's
Just
going
bam,
on.
there
But
you
it's
go.
important to have body. It's important to have body cam footage in every situation. That's all I have to add. I'm done.
We're gonna go ahead and show you guys this because guess what? Surprise! They're rioting where again? In Minnesota.
Okay, well,
Go ahead.
A major intersection in uptown neighborhood in Minneapolis this evening. A group there
Is this still on?
and friends of 32-year-old Winston Smith. Smith was shot and killed by members of the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force in a parking lot yesterday. Erin Sansada is there near Lake and Anthony Avenues, and she joins us now with the latest. Hi there, Erin.
Hi, Amelia. Yeah, people tell me that city traffic enforcement actually came through and put up some of these closed road signs. You can see though that people have also tipped over a couple trash and recycling cans to block a little bit more. Numbers haven't grown though out here too much since 5 o'clock. Still a couple dozen people holding space. Still no visible police out here either. But we did hear from Winston Smith's family earlier today. They are calling for transparency in this investigation.
I got a call from my stepbrother saying that the man that got shot is my brother.
There are now flowers where 32-year-old Winston Willie Smith Jr.'s life
Hey.
ended on Thursday.
I saw the blood that they let drip down the drain. And he's just like anybody else.
He has two girls and one boy. He has an older daughter that understands what's going on.
His social media post showed he had just finished having lunch on the Cella's rooftop across the street.
There's a camera on the fifth floor of the parking ramp. We want to see that footage of what actually happened.
His brother and others here also want to know more about the law enforcement officials involved. They want all relevant evidence released.
I want names, I want faces, I want experience, history, I want all of that.
There was a warrant for Smith's arrest after he failed to appear for a felony firearm conviction in Ramsey County on May 19th. According to court records, Smith also failed to appear for a probation.
Just read them for a second. Charged possession of types firearm, ammo, crime of violence, ineligible under blah blah blah. The man has a past. I'm just saying it doesn't justify what happened one or the other. I'm just saying, hey, he has a past. It's there.
For a 2017 aggravated robbery conviction. His 4-year sentence in that case was stayed and he's out on probation. Smith is also facing an upcoming trial in September for allegedly fleeing a police officer last fall, but his friends and family say a warrant for his arrest should not have led to the end of his life.
He was on a date. He wasn't out doing anything wrong. He was in a public place with a lot of people around with him.
There needs to be something done about this.
And we actually just spoke with Winston's 7-year-old daughter. She was out here with her mom. She told us she misses her dad and that he's up in the sky. So a lot of people close to him thinking about him today. There was going to be a vigil out here near Lake and Gerard just after 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock tonight.
All right. Thank you, Erin.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and address this. You know what I want? I want his family to talk about the fact that he committed 3 separate armed robberies.
None of
and
that-
they didn't seek out to get this man counseling, psychological
stop.
help, anything at that
I got
time.
the no. You don't know whether or not he got counseling for that. You don't know.
Well, let me ask you something. If he did get counseling, then why did he go and commit 2 more robberies after the first one?
All right, I don't know the answer to that, but none of that has to do with the incident we're talking about.
No, but that's that's something actually I want to bring up because here's the thing: they want faces, they want names, they want this, they want justice in their words. And I say, well,
This is the U.S. Marshals now.
Time out. He has a warrant for his arrest. He has multiple robberies in his past. It doesn't seem like he was. Look, they list this guy as an artist and a comedian. Between that, I mean, that video, I mean, he's saying some shit to a camera. Here's the thing: the day of in question, they're talking about how he's on a date and all this, that, and the third. He had a warrant out that was being pursued by the fucking Marshal Service. That's not just a dude who's casually out dating a woman in the middle of the city. That's somebody who the police are actively
but here-
trying to arrest and pursue.
None of that matters. Here's what it comes down to. if he brandished a gun and they shot him, then I say it's justified. If he didn't brandish the gun and they just shot him, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Police are saying that they told him to surrender. He brandished the gun. They didn't say how he brandished it,
Careful on the table.
and then they shot him.
Right. Yeah.
If the case is that they told him to surrender and he brandished the gun and they shot him, I say it's justified because if
Right.
you're going to arrest me and I showed a gun and you shot me, I deserve to be shot.
That's how a shooting board sees it. That's whoever.
I'm
look at
saying-
the case sees it. My issue is
They want it.
they
No,
want to paint this.
you're
picture-
yelling.
No, they want.
I wasn't done yet.
I know, but here's the thing: they paint the picture that this guy was some innocent civilian walking around. You don't have a warrant out from the U.S. Marshal Service if you're an innocent.
They
civilian.
didn't. The news didn't say he was innocent. They just reporting the
No,
facts.
but the fact is that his family is acting as if. Here's the thing: he's leaving behind a 7-year-old. It's sad. Okay, he's leaving behind kids. It sucks. Okay, fine. But here's the thing: the decisions you made up until this point. If you had made better decisions, would you have been in a situation where there was a warrant out for your arrest?
Probably
and
not.
The Marshal Service was searching.
But I don't care about that. I only care about what happened. That it did just.
But my thing is that they're not even going to address that. I get it's a family member that died. But if my family member had a warrant out for the Marshal Service to come after him, I'd have some fucking questions. I'd be upset, but I'd be like, wait a minute. What the fuck did he do in the first place to have this level of police
They just said it's because
interaction?
he missed a court appearance
Right.
and they put a warrant out
Right,
for him.
and he missed a court appearance because he did what? He had an illegal weapon, something to that of the degree, and it's like, look.
But all this come down to, it's did he brandish a firearm? They said that's why they shot him. Let me finish.
He said in the video there was a fifth level, I think.
Okay, yes.
Right, fifth level camera,
Yes.
something that could see it, right?
Okay, but I'm saying, and that's why they shot him.
Yeah.
So that's what this all comes down to.
Well, again, let's also remember that if that video comes out and it shows that they're right, that the family is still going to sue either way for her death. It's going to happen. It's again,
All right.
perfectly allowed by the legal system. Fine. Here's my thing. The real issue I have with this stuff is nobody addresses. You made decisions that led to that situation. If we're to be honest, why do we keep blaming the people who are just doing their job compared to the person who's made multiple decisions in a row that have been stupid, reckless, dangerous, or criminal? Why do we never address somebody's behavior? The issue I really have is if the black community wants to constantly, and not everyone in it, but the vast majority want to get upset at somebody who was not innocent. Sorry, it's the case, and we'll find out soon whether or not he did brandish a weapon. But I'm saying, in terms of the mentality of somebody who's made multiple decisions in a criminal act or a criminal way, we're supposed to sit back and go, oh, well, it's terrible, it's tragic. Yes, but I ask you, did this person not put themselves in this situation by the decisions they've made? How come nobody within that family when they were being interviewed said, yeah, you know what, I love him, he was my brother, but he made so many bad decisions.
Because it's not about. All right, I'm done. I'm signing out. I'm done. I'm done with the conversation. Yes, I am done.
My question is why do we not address behavior? Now, if it's not the family that addresses it, I get that. But how come the media doesn't have any criticism? How come they don't have any questions?
That's a good
They
question.
don't say anything.
Because it's just.
You know?
Listen, let me
Go
finish.
ahead.
Because your guy just got killed, and maybe that'll come later. All right, I'm done. Can we sign out? I'm done.
Why do you do this?
Because I'm done. We're talking about.
I want to finish off here. I just want to ask the question out there. If you have a family member you know of that's stupid, that's making bad decisions, somebody. Again, I don't agree with police shootings in general because I don't want someone to get shot. But I also have to look at the individual and go, look, these guys get trained a certain way. If you flash a gun at a cop, you have to be one of the dumbest human beings alive or one of the most unlucky.
You're yelling, but he can hear you.
Here's the thing. When I look at this situation, the question I really have at the end of the day is, when are we going to start to address the decisions and behaviors of people and figure out a way to help them so that they can change that? Because the criminal justice system in general, when you're in jail, prison, it doesn't reform an individual. It allows them to be recidivative when they come out and continue to commit crimes. When do we start to change this stuff? That's what I'm looking forward to. There's a really great YouTuber out there, Larry Lawton, an ex-jewel thief, everything like that. He talks about his time in prison and changing his life around. He has a program that he utilizes to, keep people out of trouble. I'm hoping that if you're out there and you're watching this and you're considering doing something stupid or criminal, that you would at least seek out the advice of somebody like Larry. I've never been to jail, I've never been to prison. How about you?
No.
Okay.
All right.
So for anyone out there, I'm just asking you, please, on behalf of the Loud Jackass podcast, we want to thank you for being with us. But if you are in a situation where you're considering doing something stupid, reconsider it. Think. Ask somebody whose expert knowledge and advice can maybe help you avoid that situation. Do not be another Winston Boogie Smith Jr. Please make better decisions with your lives. It's been Loud Jackass Podcast with Tony,
Mike,
and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
none of that.